limited edition GTX 960 100 million edition. God, it feels awesome to be holding a limited edition card in your hands. You should try it sometime. So this is the limited edition. It's got the twin Frozer on there, and this is in a nice green color. Also have a back plate with the Dragon logo on there, and some breathing holes on the back. It's just it's a very pretty card. It's also larger than the Strix that we looked at earlier. The actual size is about 10.5 inches from the bracket to the furthest point there at the tip of the shroud. Plastic shroud on there. Decent fans, and the fans are interesting. They have like some channels on them, and the blades are sort of staggered, like one's high and then one's a little lower. So it ran extremely quietly and kept things nice and cool. But the nice thing about this card, from my experience, is the overclocking potential. It does have an 8-pin PCI Express connector on the top, and some of them have out there, 6-pin PCI Express connectors. I was able to push this. I was able to overvolt it just a little bit, and I took this thing all the way up to 1553, and it ran fine without artifacting. So that's pretty damn cool. You see the heat pipes there on the twin Frozer, all going in and hanging out on top of that core in the middle of there. Decent amount of fins in there. So it did keep things nice and cool. If you guys want to find out all about all the different technologies, that have to go along with this, go ahead and watch the video on the main channel. We'll talk about, DSR, which basically allows you to do 4K and then downsample it to 1080 to give you higher quality, but it does tax the graphics card a little bit more. I'll talk about the frame buffer and just all the different stuff that you need to know. I'm also going to test 2 of these in a system so you guys can see the SLI performance, and then I'm going to compare it to the 970 because 2 of these slightly more expensive than a 970. So where should you put your money? Anyway, let's talk specifically about the MSI GTX 960 100 million edition. It's also very similar to another one of their cards that's out there. So this has been factory overclocked, only up to 1190 megahertz, and the boost clock is up to 1253 megahertz according to GPU-Z. You can see we have 2 gigabytes of GDDR5, and that's Samsung branded memory. The bus width is 128-bit. It's got 2 64-bit controllers on here, making it 128-bit somehow, I guess, maybe. Yeah. That's mainly it for this card, other than the overclocking, and we'll get to that in just a second. First off, let's start off with the benchmarks, and then we'll talk about the overclocking test bench we're using, EVGA-X99 classified. We also have the the crazy Intel Extreme 8 core on there. We've got 32 gigabytes of G-Skill, Ripjaws 4 memory on there. Stuff's awesome. I'm putting it on there right now, but it's probably going to go into my next system coming up. We got the V8 from Cooler Master. It's a bit loud, but it stays nice and cool. I got the HyperX 3K from Kingston as our SSD. We're running an old Velociraptor just as extra storage in the system. It's just there for games and whatnot. And then we have the 1000 watt Fractal Newton power supply. So starting off with BioShock, card did just fine. But overclocking is coming up soon. Just stay tuned. You're going to like it. Trust me, you're going to like it. Lichdom, CryEngine 3 game, did okay at 1440. I mean, it's like, again, console playable, but if you're on a console, you'll pretend it's good, but no. 1080p did just fine. And Thief, 1440p, again, is not playable unless you're, on a console and pretending it's good. But 1080p, it's never dropped below 34, so totally playable, all day long, 1080p maxed out. So the Vanishing of Ethan Carter, 1440p and 1080p, looking amazing. Quite enjoy this card with that game. All right, Trine 2, everything cranked up all the way, and at 1440p, could not hit 30 FPS. It tried so hard. I mean, it was like 29 the entire time. But at 1080p, completely playable at 50 frames per second, so just fine there. Now, as far as overclocking goes, with most of these cards, you can go in and you can add like 100 or maybe even a little bit more to the boost clock just in whatever program. I used MSI Afterburner for this, but you can use GPU Tweak or Precision X with EVGA or whatever program, and a lot of them will work, back and forth. You can use MSI Afterburner if it's your favorite for all the other NVIDIA cards. So I do quite enjoy their program. Anyway, I went in and, you go put a check mark and say, hey, let me add some voltage to this. So I went in and added some voltage because this card does have an 8-pin PCI Express connector. And I'm like, well, it's running nice and cool, like really, really cool. Like insanely cool. Like stock clock, you know, running Valley was like 59C, and then 100 megahertz overclock was 60C. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go and add a couple hundred megahertz and see what happens. And to my surprise, it worked just fine. In Valley, we're hitting 1553 megahertz. And the temperatures on that, it hit 61, but it mostly stayed around 60. So these fans did a great job. Fans were not spinning too crazily at all. Let's just talk about the benchmarks with Valley. So with the stock clock, you can see 1440p and 1080p were okay. They're not amazing or anything like that. Now the benchmarks with the overclock, you can see it brought it up just a little bit from 34 to 37 at 1080p, and then from 20 to 22.7. So not a crazy amount there, but that game already taxes the hell out of this. We saw more gains with we tried the Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and we got like an extra 6 or 7 frames per second. If this can handle it, and give it a little bit of extra juice, ran just fine, no artifacts. So I am quite impressed with the overclocking potential of this card. You can probably really get in there and tweak it if you take some time. I just kind of like slopped something together, added a little bit, tiny bit of extra voltage, and did an overclock. But even if you're afraid of that, you can just go in and add 100 megahertz and have a couple extra FPS in most games. Maybe 2 to 5% increase in most games. Maybe not 5. That's a bit high, but you can do it. It works, and you get some extra power. I've only tested a couple of these cards, but this one did a really good job of overclocking. So if you want overclocking, a hell of a way to go. And it's also limited edition, so that's pretty snazzy too. Subscribe to this channel. Just do it. This is the hardware channel. This is where all this kind of stuff belongs. We're going to try to keep the special stuff on the main channel. You guys are probably already subscribed. You better be. And then if you guys want to see more hardware videos, including like videos of, like this thing. It's electronic bubblegum dispense. I don't know. Just subscribe. I'll see you guys later.